Here we go.
Alright, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking another look at Mage healing. We're going to go through the spells, the rotation, the build, the spec for it, the just overall opinion I have of it, and go through everything we can think of. So if you like this kind of content, be sure to leave me a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz. And we'll just jump right into it. So let's go ahead and knock out the spec first. I feel like Arcane Subtlety 2 out of 2 and 3 out of 5 Arcane Focus are absolutely essential for Mage healing. The big part about that is if you're fighting mobs that are 1, 2, 3 levels higher than you, this will help you not lose your damage to resist. So you absolutely need this as a mage healer. I also put 5 out of 5 in improved arcane missiles. There is an alternative to this. You could put 5 out of 5 in magic absorption, but honestly I feel like you're going to get more bang for your buck out of improved arcane missiles, because these, even in a raid setting or a dungeon setting, you're occasionally going to be taking damage and you don't want to be losing your cast time. And since arcane missiles is one of the few spells you get to use for mage healing, this is definitely not wasted to take these talents. Really, it's more of a PvP talent, but it's still useful in dungeons and raids. So you can make up your own mind about that, but we'll keep going. 5 out of 5 arcane concentration. Again, this is absolutely essential. The mana efficiency for mage healing just isn't great and really isn't there right now. So getting these clear casting procs to save your mana is, you absolutely need it. I highly suggest you use your clear casting procs on arcane missiles, or if you're on your 4th cast of arcane blast, you could use it on that. Otherwise you're kind of wasting it. But then my last talent point that I'll get at level 25, which I haven't gotten yet, is arcane meditation. Allow 5% of your mana regeneration to continue while casting. That's going to be, really nice to have. Alright, so that's the spec that we're running with. As far as runes go, you have regeneration that you're going to put on your chest piece. Here's one of the problems I have with mage healing, though. The mana cost on it is 199 mana, and it heals the target for 193 over 3 seconds. So it's less than a 1-to-1 ratio between your mana and healing, which makes this the most inefficient healing spell in the game, I believe. You're going to want that one. That's really the only rune you're going to want for your chest piece. The leg runes, you've got a choice. Now, Living Flame is going to do arcane damage and healing, so you can use this. I highly suggest using Living Flame for dungeon runs, because if your tank pulls several targets, this is going to give you the ability to get out enough damage to keep up with the damage coming in, right? So it's really mana efficient. It's got a really good cost on it. The mana cost is negligible, and it actually does AoE damage. It damages everything around your target. So if you place this well and use it well, this is going to help a lot. It does have a 1 minute cooldown though, which is the downside to it. But all in all, for a dungeon run, I find this more useful. I feel like mass regeneration is going to be the one you run for raid, but yeah, we'll take a look at mass regeneration here. 319 mana, but it heals the entire party, 193 health over 3 seconds. So yeah, as far as that goes, if there's 3 targets that need healing, this is worth it. 100% for the mana cost. Or really, if there's 2 targets that need healing, it's worth it. But I do want you to pay attention on the regeneration and the mass regeneration. The last line of the text there says this healing is reduced by 50% on self and also reduced by 80% when damage is done by Arcane Explosion. So they've nerfed this again and made it to where Arcane Explosion is basically useless for Mage healing now. So there goes one of your AoE spells that was actually useful whenever the tank would pull big groups and you needed to do more damage. So yeah, I don't know why they keep nerfing this, but they do. Anyways, let's move on. We'll talk about that more at the end here. For the gloves, you have 2 options. One is Arcane Blast, and the other is Rewind Time. Now, I have a huge problem with this. Rewind Time would be great for, well, especially raid bosses where the tank is taking an unreasonable amount of damage that you just can't keep up with through your damage spells. Rewind Time would be great to have. The cooldown on it makes it to where I don't think it's ever going to be the rune that you want to use while healing. Arcane Blast, though, is I really feel like that's honestly the best rune you can get for mage healing right now. Because as far as mana efficiency goes for what you're getting, well, here at level 24, it's 32 mana cost to do 180 to 209 arcane damage. So that's literally the best mana efficient spell you have for healing as a mage right now, hands down. Then it also stacks. The mana cost increases, but even at 3 stacks, it's still more mana efficient than arcane missiles. So, then the fact that it buffs your other arcane spells on top of that, making it to where your arcane missiles is going to do a little more damage with each stack. Hands down, this is the best rune for mage healing, in my opinion. Feel free to disagree with me, but without this, your only real arcane damage spell left is arcane missiles. I mean, 235 mana for 250 to 280-ish healing or damage. You're not going to get all of that in healing, unfortunately. So going without Arcane Blast is going to be a real problem. Okay, so as far as rotation goes, though, I fully recommend hitting Arcane Blast 3 times and then going into your Arcane Missiles. Hopefully you'll get a clear casting proc. I feel like if you've, even on your first cast of Arcane Blast, if that procs clear casting, you should just automatically go into Arcane Missiles at that point. And just do it that way. Like I say, Arcane Explosion is basically useless now, but let's just go into the end of this video, and I'll tell you what I think about it. I'm gonna throw up some gameplay here for you to watch while I talk about this. Okay, so that'll give you something to watch a little more, so it's not just me talking all the time. So Mage healing, I just really don't feel like it's there right now. It definitely needs some more work. One of the biggest problems I have with Mage healing, besides the mana inefficiency that you have, is the fact that regeneration only puts Temporal Beacon up for 30 seconds. So in a raid fight that's going to last several minutes, you're going to have to reapply that Temporal Beacon multiple times at a minimum of 200 mana per cast. You need to keep in mind that your clear casting procs do not apply to your regeneration or your mass regeneration. So, yeah, 30 seconds on the Temporal Beacon is just not enough, in my opinion. That's one of the easiest things they could change for Mage healing that would make it more viable, in my opinion. And then mass regeneration, it only puts the Temporal Beacon up for 15 seconds. And again, just not enough, especially in a raid boss fight where you will have to apply this multiple times. That's over 300 mana per cast of mass regeneration, and then the Temporal Beacon only lasts 15 seconds. So every time you're putting that up, it's going to be, just 15 seconds for you to pump out as much damage as you can to get that healing going for the party and top everybody off. Which means, at most, you've got a 2.5 second cast time on Arcane Blast, right? So at most you're gonna get 6 casts of Arcane Blast, and you're never going to get that perfect. So 5. We're gonna make it 5 casts of Arcane Blast in 15 seconds. That's the best you're going to be able to do. Another real problem I have with Mage healing is right here in this video that I'm showing. I'm actually running the mass regeneration rune during this dungeon run, and as you can see, the tank has pulled a few too many, and there's nothing I can do about it. Literally nothing I can do about it to keep the tank alive at this point. If I had been running the Living Flame rune on my pants instead of the mass regeneration, I probably could have been able to keep that tank alive. But as it was, I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing you can do as a mage healer if there's too much damage coming in. The only option you have is to run the Rewind Time rune on your gloves, but like I said, that's basically killing yourself on the healing, right? So I can't say that I'm ever going to think that's worth it. So for mage healing, you have a lack of tools for, oh shit situations. We've already talked about the temporal beacon. Now let's talk about the mana inefficiency. Uh, very few of the mage's spells that provide healing are actually mana efficient. Arcane Explosion, you can just throw that out the window nerfed the way they've nerfed the regeneration and the mass regeneration runes to where Arcane Explosion is just useless. So that leaves you with Arcane Blast and Arcane Missiles. And then if you're running the rune Living Flame, so you have 3 spells. Arcane Blast and Living Flame are both actually mana efficient for the most part. The 4th cast of Arcane Blast is not going to be mana efficient. So, Arcane Missiles, though, is, yeah, barely keeping up on being mana efficient. But the healing you get from the regeneration runes and the mass regeneration runes is negligible. Really, you're just using those spells to apply the temporal beacon, right? And in the end, you know, maybe with enough spell power, this would be okay. But honestly, the way they have everything right now, it's just not there. So they've actually nerfed your temporal beacon to where only 80% of the damage goes to healing, and half of that it's only 50% if it's damage on yourself. Now, I understand why they did that, because there were mages abusing this. Right, that they were going into dungeons, 2 or 3 mages, and just grouping everything up in Arcane Explosion, healing themselves, keeping themselves alive through it. I get it. I get why they did it. But that 80% on Arcane Missiles and Arcane Blast and Living Flame, that's 100% overkill on the nerf there. And to me, they really kind of killed mage healing with that, because it was already, you know, mana inefficient to heal as a mage. There were already problems with mage healing before they did that, and they just compounded the problem. What they did with the Arcane Explosion, I'm fine with that. I really don't care about Arcane Explosion, because that shouldn't be part of your rotation for mage healing anyways. For one thing, you have to be up in the fight to use Arcane Explosion. For another, as far as raid healing goes, should never be used. That should never be a thing. I feel like if you're going to embrace the healing role for a mage, your damage needs to be single target anyways. So Arcane Blast and Arcane Missiles is where it's at. Living Flame, I'm fine with that, you know, especially for dungeons like this. I'm going to lose this tank again because we had a problem and pulled too many extras. So yeah, Living Flame, I can get behind that. You absolutely need that for certain situations. But yeah, the nerfs they've put in place, in my opinion, they need to be buffing mage healing in a big way, because it's not enough, you know. The mage healers do not have the tools at present to fulfill their role. That's all there is to it. As far as Black Fathom goes, I would 100% try to avoid taking a mage healer in there, just because of all these problems we're talking about. Now, if you have no choice, that's fine, whatever, you know. But, at most, I think I would want a mage healer as a third healer kind of deal, where you're still getting some damage out of him, but you're not really relying on the mage healer because, like I say, it's just not there. You don't have the tools you need to do the job at this point in time. So that's all I've got for you right now. I was really hoping the update today would see a buff for mage healing, but unfortunately, it's still not. They still haven't figured it out. But that's all I have to say about it for now. Be sure to leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about it. Um, I do want to clarify. I'm not saying mage healers are useless. I think it's fun. You know, I think it's something that I really want to see work, and I really want to see uh, mage healing become better. But I don't feel like it's there right now. So be sure to leave me a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz, and I'll catch you in the next one.